Guys, what's going on? It's Jack here. Now, for today's video, it's a very, very special one. I'm giving you some bits of information that I think are going to be very, very, very helpful for you. Probably the best bits of advice that I've ever given on this channel when it comes to selling on Amazon, when it comes to picking a product in general, whether it's Amazon you're selling on, Shopify, or whatever, you're selling a product in person, whatever it is. These are the two best bits of information that I think I've given, and I really, really beg you guys to stay, close to the end of the video where I explain what these two methods are, what these two sort of bits of info are, and how I think it'll really, really help you. Because I'm saying this from basically the bottom of my heart, what I think are the best sort of ways to go about selling and why I think these are some really, really good bits of information. So whether you're started selling on Amazon, this video is for all the beginners, all the intermediate levels, even people who are advanced selling on Amazon. I still think this applies to anyone because it looks at it from a different perspective, from a different sort of shed of light. And I really, really think it's going to help you guys. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into this video. I really, really hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys get some value out of it. By the way, before I get started on this video, if you haven't already, if you're subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that notification bell that's next to the subscribe button, because that will allow you guys to see any videos that I post, that I upload. It'll show you straight away, so you can be the first ones to the videos, because the way YouTube works now, you need to hit that bell, otherwise you won't be notified of every single upload I do. Now, I've been trying to upload every second day. I've been, eventually we'll get to one video a day. Right now we're doing every second day. But apart from that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this one. I hope you guys get a lot of value out of it. We're going to get straight into it. All right, so before we get into the nitty gritty and the actual, all this advice that I'm going to give you when it comes to selling on Amazon, I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of how the growth's been on Amazon Australia so far. So when Amazon Australia launched, they actually launched, the actual websites that people could buy stuff from. I think it was about November 2017. It was documented as one of the biggest launches in history for Amazon itself in any market. That includes the US, it includes Canadian, it includes the European, anywhere in the world. It was documented to be the biggest launch, in Amazon's history, which was huge. Now, from there, a lot of people, a lot of Aussies were slow to jump on the bandwagon of selling or not selling, but more so buying. And also selling, and a lot of people don't believe in it. A lot of people still don't believe in it. They think that that it's going to be a flop, that because it's performing badly, and they're comparing it to the US in sense of the US's population and Australia's population, but really in reality, looking at it, being I'm an Amazon seller myself and teaching other people how to sell on Amazon Australia myself, I have really noticed, especially in the last year, in the last 6 months. For sure, the growth on there has been huge, and the addition to advertising, doing Amazon PPC on the Aussie platform, the growth has been so huge, and you can see it in the sales that not just my students are getting, but the sales that other Aussie sellers are getting now as well. Because you can see if you've seen the community, and if you are deeply involved in the community, you'll start to see this shift in especially now that Amazon PPC is here, just the shift in sales and the shift in momentum. And a lot of people, think that, well, the seller stuff is going to be saturated, and, there's going to be too many sellers. Really, in reality, there's something like less than 20%, seller to buyer ratio. Because when you think about it, the majority of people that want to go on Amazon, they go on Amazon to buy. They don't go on Amazon to sell. People aren't thinking of selling on Amazon. It might seem that way if you are getting into it and you're surrounding yourself with people that are wanting to sell on Amazon, but in reality, there's pretty much never going to be a saturation of people wanting to sell on Amazon. Maybe in 50 years, who knows, but it's nowhere near, going to be anytime soon. So that's one thing to think about when it comes to the growth of Amazon Australia. It's going to be huge, and we haven't even hit the peak. Yeah, we're nowhere even near the peak of Amazon selling yet, and that's why, like the students that are in my course, and the other people who are looking to sell or are starting to sell on Amazon Australia now, they are pretty much looking at the benefits of selling. And a lot of people might say that it's slower than Amazon US, which is true. Of course it's slower than Amazon US in terms of sales at the moment. We're not going to have that volume, and really when it comes down to it, the population of Australia is a lot less than the entirety of the US. But for the Australians, how many 21, 22 million people we've got here in Australia. I hope I'm right on that, by the way. I'm not 100% sure, but the ratio to the people and sales that we've got here, it's grown so much, and people are now starting to slowly make that livable income off of Amazon Australia. And whether you want to do that or whether you want to just sell on the side, it's becoming more apparent that it is able to do so on Amazon Australia. Now, I'm going to jump into some examples of my own product and jump into the history of my very, very first product that actually did surprisingly well for my first product that I ever sold on Amazon. I'm going to relate that to a bad product that I've sold on Amazon, that I've still got inventory at Amazon. But before I actually jump into some examples of good and bad selling products that I've actually personally sold, and they were both on the US Amazon. Now, the first product that I ever sold was actually surprisingly good, and I'm going to talk about the differences between that and why I think one was good and why I think one was bad. Before I get into that though, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Amazon PPC and how that has actually helped. When I first started selling my very, very first product, the thing that actually helped push my product, and if you didn't know the story behind that, you can actually see what the product was. It was a bangle flask that women wore on their on their wrist. It was like an accessory, like a fashion accessory, and you actually poured alcohol in it as well. And that was my very, very first product, and I'm going to talk about why I think that one was good for that particular era of selling, and why I think that it trumped my one of my products later on that didn't do as well as I thought, and which I thought was going to do better. But the thing that really pushed that first product was Amazon PPC. And now that it's come to Amazon Australia, I think this is going to be such a huge game changer. I've had students, that I teach. I've had students that have, they started off pretty slow selling on Amazon. Once Amazon PPC came through, I pushed the awareness to it. I said, look, make sure you actually try Amazon PPC after you get your reviews and whatnot. Make sure you push Amazon PPC and you actually try it out and make sure it's just a test. And I've had so many students now that have said, I've started getting sales, I've started slowly growing them. I've had students, you've got students like Albas who use PPC now, and they're doing, 3,000 to 5,000 per month on Amazon Australia. And then you've got other students who have grown, from getting sort of 1 to 2 sales every 1 to 2 weeks, and now they're getting 1 to 2 sales every day. And that's growing now. And I've got students who, do, who have started, selling, say, 100 to 200 a month in sales, who have grown to 700 a month in sales. And it really goes to show that Amazon PPC does work. So that's one thing, that's one side of it. I'm going to do more videos, and I do have videos on Amazon PPC and how that really helps Amazon, but that's not the importance of this video. That's not the piece of advice I'm going to give you here. So we're going to get straight into that now, and I think this is going to be probably the best bit of advice that I've ever given in terms of Amazon selling, from my experience and from teaching people in my experience as well. So we're going to get straight into that right now. So I'm actually going to tell you guys the differences between this first product that I sold that actually did surprisingly well, and one of my other later products that I thought was going to do even better, which didn't end up doing as good. And I'm going to tell you guys why I think, and what the whole importance, this reasoning behind this whole video is, that I think I need to, drive into you guys, just to really, make some clarity when it comes to selling on Amazon. So the first product, if you guys didn't know, was that bangle flask. The other product that I sold was actually a beauty product. Now, the big difference between this, and this is going to be the point that I really want to drive home to you guys, is the big reason why I think the one product was good, the bangle flask was good, and the other beauty product wasn't as good. And mind you, this beauty product is still in the US. This was back when I was focusing more on the US. So that's how long ago I've had this product on there. And yes, I'm still trying to grow it on there, but no, I'm still focusing more on the Aussie market now. But I still have that product there on the US. And I'm going to tell you guys why I think that this bangle flask was better, even though a beauty product would usually do better than say an accessory like a bangle flask, which is more so used as like a gag gift, like a gift people would buy as a joke, as a gift for other people. I think it did a whole lot better because I made the bangle flask my own. Now, I still went, to have a look on the US market to see what was working, see what was selling well. Yes, you need to do all that good stuff, see what has demand, see what's selling well, see what has good sales numbers. I did the same for both, and I think the reasoning behind why the bangle flask works so much better was because I made the product my own. That is why I did it so different. That is why I think it works so different. That's why I think it sold a lot better. Now, I was getting up to the point, this was on my first product, I was getting up to the point where I was doing something like 20 to 25 units per day selling, and that was huge. And that ended up making me about 3K profit in a month on the US market. So the main difference was I made it my own. Now, the bangle flask, I didn't do anything special. You can actually check videos of what the product looks like on my older videos, and I didn't do anything special. I made a rose gold flask, which was different to majority of other people at the time. With my packaging, I just made it my own. I didn't make it the same as everyone else's. I just did this really simple cardboard box, and I did my own design. I designed it myself on there. I made it really, really simple. And the photos that I did on my listing were actually just on the balcony here at home, and I just took them myself, and I did it, you know, pretty much no Photoshop photos on the listing, and I made it really, really, you know, simple, but I did it my own. Now, you know, with this other beauty product that I had later on down the track, I pretty much did, you know, I wanted to play it, you know, safe. I did, because, you know, I make mistakes myself. You know, I'm not perfect, and this is where I learn from, and this is where I teach you guys. I didn't make the product my own. I basically did similar colors. I did a similar sort of box style to everyone else, you know, sort of the darker colors and, you know, similar, I guess, kind of font. And I didn't want to play too much outside of the realm of what all the other sellers were doing, because I wanted to, you know, go with what worked. If I went and did something crazy, you know, the product color that I did was like a silver and black kind of color, and I noticed, you know, a bit later on that a lot of people were doing that. If I went crazy and did something different and did something that was more me, I feel like it would have been more popular. But look, it's in the past now, and that's the best piece of advice I can give you. So when it comes to selling on Amazon, this is what I want you guys to do. These are the two things that I really want to drive, and this is probably going to be the title of this video. It's the top two things, the top two pieces of advice I can give you for when it comes to selling on Amazon and how you're really going to make it. Now, these might seem like really obvious, but these are things that people forget because they get lost in the numbers and they get lost in, you know, just really wanting to make those sales, which of course that's what you want to do. You want to make sales, but the way to make sales is you need to speak to your customers. You need to really, because you need to treat them as though they're real people, because they are. You can't just treat them as customers and numbers. You really need to treat them as real people, because that's who they are. You're trying to speak to people. So when it comes to choosing your product, these are two things that you really want to remember, and you really want to keep reminding yourself when you're looking at you know, selling on Amazon. So number one, you need to have a product that actually helps people. You need to have a product that solves a problem for people. You need to have a product that, you know, will not just be something that is, you know, some crappy product that everyone else sells and it seems to be doing well. It's like a trend or something like that. It has no value to people. You need to have a product that's going to help people, that's going to bring value, that they're going to have for a long time. You know, that's really, in that, you know, even if it's a $25 product or, you know, $15 product, mind you, needs to be a product that people are going to use, that people are going to get use out of, that people are going to remember. And, you know, in the long run, that is going to be a product that will win. Now, second piece of advice that I need to give you guys, which is pretty much the most important when it comes to selling on Amazon, when you do choose a product, and that's any product, mind you. It doesn't even have to be selling on Amazon. I'm doing Amazon because this is an Amazon-based YouTube channel, but when it comes to choosing a product, you need to make that product your own. You need to put your own spin on it, your own colors, your own little designs, your own little add-ons. It needs to be you. It needs to be not the same as everyone else's. People get stuck into this whole thing of, you know, you need to go with what's working, and that's why, and, you know, part of that is true because you need to go with a product that actually has demand, but when it comes to actually creating your product, when it comes to selling it, it needs to be you. You can't copy. Let's just say you have, you know, like a product that I was doing. You have a product that, you know, has silver and black color, you know, has a silver and black color on there, has, you know, a rectangle size box or something like that. But, you know, mine's going to be different because, you know, it's going to have my brand name on it. No, it's not going to be different because you're pretty much giving the people the same amount of value as what the other person is. You're not changing anything. Let's just say if you really like, you know, the color purple and you did a really nice bright purple one that stood out, and, you know, you had a box that was on like a nice oval shaped box, or like, you know, like a sort of like a really, really tiny box or something like that. Just something that, you know, describes you and has your personality in it. People are going to sense that when they look at a product. You know, they're going to say, oh, you know, this is a nice, really silver and cool, like silver and black looking, you know, product. But look at this one. Look how different this one is, and that's going to be you because you really like that product. So they're the two best pieces of information I could ever give, you know, for Amazon sellers or people looking to sell a product or anything like that. You need to really make the product you, and you need to make sure you're helping people. If your intent is to help people and it's just being you when it comes to a product selling on Amazon, that is the best piece of advice I can give you on that topic. So yeah, just to drive this point home, guys, make sure that you don't follow what everyone else is doing. Make sure that yes, you find a product that has good demand. Yes, you need to follow certain criteria, but when it comes to actually choosing the product, making the product, make sure that it is you. Make sure that the product is you. Make sure that you're not just following everyone else. Make sure that you actually, have a product there that is helping people. And I can guarantee you guys, if you have that intent to help people, if you have that intent to just be you and not follow what everyone else is doing, not exactly what everyone else is doing, then you will definitely win in the long run when it comes to selling online, when it comes to selling on Amazon. If you constantly have that intent there, that's with anything. It doesn't have to be selling on Amazon. If you have that intent of helping people and being you and not being superficial or any of that kind of thing, I can guarantee you're going to win. But apart from that, guys, I'm going to be signing off on this video. I hope this video helped you. These are the best pieces of advice I can give you when it comes to selling on Amazon, especially for the Aussies out there, because Aussies can really sniff out whether someone is being superficial, whether someone is, just trying to be a money grab or something like that. We're very, very good at that. I can guarantee that Aussies are very good at that. So I hope these pieces of advice helped you out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you're doing well. I'll see you guys very, very soon.